Good morning, you fast metabolism dieters. It is another wonderful Friday for Faye's almonds. But I do want to just caution you, if you're an almond abuser, put the almonds down and try a different kind of fat to stimulate your metabolism on phase 3. Sometimes we do over abuse the use of almonds because they are so easy, and it's great to have them in your car as a fast snack, but also to use some of the coconut oil and the grapeseed oil and some cashews and avocados and hummus. So really mix up your fats. Try something a little different, maybe even some flaxseed, but make sure you get a really good source of it, because dirty fat is not good for our bodies. But today I wanted to really focus on something that I haven't touched on before, but it's come across my sort of attention in a couple of different ways. I read an article yesterday about metal toxicity and how it affects our body. Haley wrote an article about fish and mercury levels in fish. And when I see things a couple of times, it really makes me think, how does this affect me? How does it affect my clients? How does it affect everything in our world? And the thing about metal toxicity is it can come from so many different sources. It can come from the environment, just environmental pollution. It can come from damaged cookware. So if you are always cooking in saucepans and pans that have been damaged, you are actually getting a high dose of metal. And where else does it come from? It comes from mercury in fish. So there are some fish that are not included on the fast metabolism diet, and the reason that they're not included is because they have very high levels of mercury in them, and those are the swordfish, marlin, ahi tuna, and orange roughy, shark, and one of my favorite fish, unfortunately, mackerel. So the reason that they are not on the fast metabolism diet is because their mercury levels are very high, and that would actually counterbalance the effects of stimulating our metabolisms. And the reason that I'm addressing this is because some of you, as you go through this, are not getting the results you deserve, and I am looking for the reason why. It's why are you following the fast metabolism diet? Why are you doing the cleanse? And those pounds are just shifting very slowly. And sometimes I have to look for that root cause. That's why I talk about getting a blood test and making sure that you're supplementing things so you get those micronutrients. But metal toxicity is very dangerous because of this. When we have too much metal in our bodies, it's a very dangerous substance for our blood. And so what tends to happen is that our blood, in order to protect itself, holds on to fat, and it sort of capsules up the metal and stores it in our fat cells to protect the body. And that way you don't lose weight, because your body is just going into the protective mode. And the other thing that Haley wrote about, which I didn't realize, but when you do have too much metal toxicity, the organ that it affects, women, is your thyroid. So, any kind of metal toxicity is bad. And I talked about cookware. I talked about fish. The environment is huge. We are, unfortunately, our air is not getting cleaner. So there's the environmental toxins. The other thing is mercury is used as a preservative in vaccinations. And there's a lot of information out there about vaccinations. And I would just like to caution you that the preservative in a vaccination has mercury in it. And so do the very old dental fillings. They were made from mercury. So if you've got a leaky filling, if you've got, this is a great time to go to the dentist and get your teeth checked, because if you've got leaky fillings, it would be a great time to get them replaced. All right. So I'm just trying to think outside the box, just to try and say, okay, why is this weight not budging? And also just to alert you that there are things that we need to be aware of that go on with our bodies that really tend to slow down our ability to drop the weight. A couple of other things that have been brought up to my attention. I had one client that had really high parasites, and she got rid of those and lost a lot of weight. The other thing that we have is adrenal stress. Adrenal stress, or any kind of stress on our bodies. Sleep deprivation is a stress. Emotional stress. And like I said, adrenal stress or any kind of extra inflammation of our joints, of our muscles, that is also stress on your body. So making sure you're calm, you're happy, and you've got gratitude in your heart for, how fortunate we are to have the lives that we do. But, I just wanted to bring something a little bit different to your attention. Please, if you have any other questions, contact me, and have a nice metal-free day. The other thing is, don't chew your pencils.